Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. Again, very lovely day, but it is a little bit bittersweet because today is the official last day of me being in New Jersey. The sun is directly in my eyes. Let me get into the shade. But yeah, so it's my last day in New Jersey, and tomorrow morning at 6 or 7 a.m., depending on what time I wake up, I'm going to be headed to Florida, and I'm going to be doing it in my Mercedes tow rig. And this is going to be a short video. I know I told you guys that I would probably do a video about the cars. That's my graffiti Lexus, if some of you have been following my articles in Jalopnik. And my Porsche 944 is in the garage. I'm going to have those shipped. I didn't make a video for that because it was just boring. It was just cars moving from my backyard to my driveway. But I think this video is just going to be me explaining a few of the things that I did to make my car sort of a little bit safer to go on this 1,000-mile journey. I said 800-mile in my last video, but that was wrong. It's about 1,050 miles. So I'm gonna go over some of the stuff, and hopefully it makes it. I mean, this is fingers crossed, guys. I've never done this before, but I think that it should make it. I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's, so we're just gonna go over that now. This car was in pretty good shape to begin with. It didn't have any check engine lights, nothing like that. It didn't have any running issues. I think you guys saw my everything wrong with my $3,000 Mercedes S-Class. But there's not really anything mechanically wrong with it. It's pretty stout. And in my last video, I went over how I did the whole tow hitch setup. But a few things before you go on any long road trip. You definitely want to check the torque on the lug nuts, and you want to check the tire pressure. So if you don't know what the tire pressure is on a specific car, and if you have stock-ish wheels, you definitely want to go to, it's either the driver or passenger, but it's driver on this car. Just open up the driver door. Gotta get my keys. So open up the driver door, and inside there should be a little plaque. See right here, it says that my recommended tire size 255/60 R16. That's exactly what they are, and my PSI is going to be 29 PSI front and 32 PSI rear. So I went ahead and did that. Made sure to check all the torque specs on the lug nuts, and that includes the ones on the trailer. And the trailer actually has this nice little tire loading information. Yeah, so this should be 35 PSI. I loaded them a little bit more just because this is supposed to be a 13, and the previous owner put 15s. The original 13s are right here, and he said he took them off because this got a little bit bouncy on the highway, and we definitely don't want that, you know, especially on this car. So another thing that some of you actually inspired me or reminded me to do is transmission cooler. So whenever you're towing something, whenever you're towing basically anything, let me see if I can open this up with one hand. This is okay, awesome. So whenever you're towing anything, especially with a car that's not meant to tow, the transmission, the automatic transmission fluid is going to heat up. It's like it's a hydraulic fluid. It can get varnished. It can get really hot. There are clutch packs in there, and planetary gears, and a lot of other magic stuff that's going on that I don't understand at all. But what I did is I got a Hayden transmission cooler, and this is rated for this kind of stuff. It says towing to 2,500 pounds. So this is a little bit more heavy duty than, you know, some of the lighter duty ones. I think this is a universal one. It's a slip-on fit, and I think it's part number 403. But what I did is, and what their recommended installation is, I'm not sure if you can see down there. Well, that's one of the lines. So there's lines going to the radiator. On the bottom, there's a transmission cooler. There's a stock cooler. The problem is that stock cooler doesn't really do much. So there's a feed line and there's a return line. What I did is I left all that in place, and just after the return line, I cut that return line. I fed it into here So this is going to be basically a lot more efficient cooling because it's right in front of the car. It's all the airflow is just going right in there, and I mean you can see the fins are pretty big. Like there's a lot of airflow going through there, and I don't think it's going to have any effect on my radiator or AC condenser. So line goes in there, and then line just comes out. I coupled it to just the regular line going to the transmission. So make sure that whenever you do this, you know, when you cut it, a little bit of fluid is going to come out, but also make sure that you put more fluid. You should check how much fluid you have. My dipstick is right here. Check how much fluid you have, because all the lines, that takes up physical space. So you're going to actually be putting more fluid in than what's in their stock. So I don't have to worry about the transmission. Like the transmissions on this car, the 5-speed, is pretty damn stout. It's the same basic model that they put in the S55s and the E55s. Like it can handle a lot of power. It can be overpaid and underpaid and overworked without too much of a problem. But I just wanted a little bit more extra security. So that's that. You also want to check your fluids. This is my washer fluid that is completely empty, but I didn't really care about this because the motor is broken or the fuse is blown or something. I don't know. I don't have any washer, but you know, it doesn't call for any rain. It doesn't. I should be fine. I'll just wipe the window off. Make sure you have coolant. Make sure your coolant is topped up. Motor oil. Make sure your motor oil is good. This is a 1,000-mile trip, so if you're within 1,000 miles, like I am, basically as soon as I get there, I'm going to have to do an oil change. Mercedes recommends it at some crazy interval, like, I don't know, 10,000 miles or 9,000 miles, and that's just not happening. So I use Mobil 1 synthetic. This is pretty much going to have 5,000-mile oil changes because I do use it daily, and I don't want to have any issues with this engine. Even though, you know, if I had to replace the engine, it's not really that big of a deal. Whenever you're towing, you also want to make sure that all your lights work. And also, right here, I wanted to make sure that I taped this up. It's pretty ghetto, but taped it up just so it doesn't foul on anything. And when I turn the trailer, that way there's enough slack that it can get picked up and it wouldn't actually rip off. I mean, there's this quick disconnect, but who knows if that's going to be the failure point. Also, the tow hitch itself needs to be torqued down. So there's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, and then 2 bolts on the inside. The insides are like 50 foot-pounds. The ones on the bottom, which are the really important ones, those like U-bolts and the I think they're 5/16 inch bolts. Yeah, those need to be 75 foot-pounds. So I did all of that. Made sure, you know, registration, all that stuff is good to go, and made sure lights work. Made sure it's let's see. Made sure it's nice and sturdy. I actually took it on a test run, and it was fine. It was a little bit slower, but it wasn't any. I mean, you didn't feel like you were towing any sort of weird load behind you, even though there is most likely like 2,200 pounds towing behind me. But it is a 5-liter V8, and I'm sure it can take it. I think that's about it. Other than snacks and water, I am going to have my dog in the car, and we laid out a nice little blanket back there. But other than snacks and water and just making sure you get some rest stops in the way, there's not much else that you need to do, especially on modern cars. It's not like you need to check the carb jets or anything. I'm pretty sure this car is going to make it. Oh, another thing. Make sure you have a spare tire jack. And the jack on this car would not, like, I needed a spare jack, but all my tools are in there. So I don't think I'll have a problem with getting, you know, the lug bolts off or getting a jack on there. But just in case, you definitely don't want to trust the spare, the stock jack that comes with this car for anything having to do with that. So I think that's about it. I think this car is going to make it. I have my fingers crossed again. but there's nothing really that should go wrong. But you can check out my Twitter tomorrow or during the weekend to see if I've gotten into some shit, so to say. Yeah, hopefully the trailer doesn't fly off, and hopefully I don't get a flat tire or get pulled over. But I think we should be good. So, as always, if you did like the video, I know this is a short one, and I will be doing more actual working on car videos. I know you guys have been wanting that, and I want to do that. Like, it's not even about you anymore. It's just I want to work on cars. Yeah, if you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, dislike button. I know, hit the dislike button. I don't just say dislike button. I'm gonna hit that dislike button, and give me some feedback. You know, let me know what you like, what you don't like, and maybe I'll change it. You know, maybe I won't. You know, I'm a stubborn bastard, so who knows? But I'm excited. I'm excited to drive this thing 1,000 miles. It's gonna be 12 hours. And yeah, I'll see you. If I don't make a video tomorrow, then it's going to be sometime next week. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.